welcome to webinar 8 in our European Capital of Democracy City Network series of webinars. Just to let you know a little bit about the European Capital of Democracy, we are a non-profit organization founded by the Innovation and Politics Institute. We're based in Vienna, and the Institute also has offices in Berlin. And we have a network of partners in over 20 European countries and beyond. So this is our city network. We have 21 member cities from 13 European countries. And at the moment, Barcelona is the first ever European Capital of Democracy, and will very shortly in November be handing over the title to Vienna, the next European Capital of Democracy. This webinar series is co-funded by the European Union. It's part of the Network of Towns project. So we have a group of cities here who host these webinars and also come together to meet in in-person meetings. Antwerp, Barcelona, Bologna, Braga, Brussels, and Cascais. Today, we are learning about sociocracy, or democracy as it could be. And we've hosted and organized this one together with our esteemed speakers. Barbara Strauch is joining us from the German-speaking Sociocracy Center. And we have 4 other examples of sociocracy in practice from across Europe. So Naya will then take the word and hand over to Florian, Pia, and Rita. And I would ask them all to briefly introduce themselves as they begin their presentations. So, without any further ado, I will hand over to Barbara to introduce sociocracy. We will then have the examples from across Europe and a 20-minute Q&A session before a brief summary and outlook at the end. So,
thank you very much. Welcome to everybody. I am, you know my name, Barbara Strauch, and I'm one of the founders of the Austrian Center, and now we have the Association of the German-speaking centers together. These are now 5 centers of sociocracy, bringing sociocracy to the society. And I start with what does sociocracy mean? Translated, sociocracy means we decide together as companions, which means every voice matters. Everyone involved in an issue has a say and is given the space to speak in a forum in a constructive manner. But this requires strong principles and a clear structure. In recent years, we have made significant progress in understanding how effectively sociocracy can work within organizations for which the model has been created. But the growing frustrations and limitations of our current political processes have led to an increasing desire to bring some of the qualities of sociocracy into the political sphere and to move towards more participatory democracy. We have had some opportunities to experiment and introduce the valuable lessons and principles of sociocracy into the interface between citizens and politics, and aiming to enhance our democratic processes at the local level. And for instance, in Austria, the Austrian Climate Council and also the Citizen Council for this Marlene Engelhorn, somebody knows perhaps, 25 million euros with a city council, and also the Austrian climate teams in Vienna, they used sociocratic decision-making processes. And we will present 4 practical examples in more details. But first you will see the history. So the word sociocracy was created by Auguste Comte in 1853, but he left no explanations of how sociocracy could be designed. It was then the Dutchman Kees Boeke who first linked the Quakers' decision-making method with the term sociocracy in his school Werkplatz Kindergemeinschaft. And this was 1926. And the Quakers, this is a Christian community which did not have leaders, they made their decisions even in very large groups with the consent of all those present. And this means that the decision was only considered to have been made when nobody had an objection to the proposal. Today, we also refer to consent as the no objection principle. And by this, we mean no objection can be ignored. Gerhard Entenburg went to Kesbuke school. And in 1970, Entenburg, he was then the director of his father's electronic company. He began to look for a way to organize a company with co-responsibility and shared decision-making, as he learned in his school. We can also incorporate very diverse opinions into everyday life if everyone is part of a circle. And all circle members are allowed to have a say, especially when they are affected by an issue. And Entenburg has developed a model that is effective and yet ensures that every voice matters. Next slide. This is the Sociocratic Circle Organisation Method, as you heard, mainly designed for organizations. This model, this is for governance and self-organization, and it's the principles can also be adapted for citizen participation in all kinds of committees and councils, and this we will see later in the examples. There are 4 basic principles. The first is the consent principle. This is decision-making with consent. This is really a principle. If you do this is not sociocracy. And the second principle is to have semi-autonomous circles, and they build a circle structure. And the third principle is the double link. So the double link means always 2 people connect 2 circles. And the last principle is the open election. This means we select people for tasks and roles by consent. And now we go to the details. The consent decision, this is considered to have been made if no, so the decision is done when no member of the group has a paramount and argued objection to the proposal. And therefore, Entenburg has developed a creative process for finding a consent. There is one circle member in the role of the facilitator. Okay, I have to change to the slides. The person who introduces the topic makes a proposal and explains it. And in the first round all the members have to understand the topic, and therefore they can ask questions. And we call this phase picture forming. And then we come, as soon as everyone knows enough about the topic, all participants react to the proposal and express their opinions. And this phase we call the opinion forming. And after everyone is heard in the first opinion round, then in the second round, everyone is asked if now people have another idea after they have listened to everybody. So this creates a creative perspective of all the group members. And here in the second round, the solution emerges. And then the facilitator summarizes the contributions into a proposed resolution and asks whether anyone has an objection. This is the first asking for objections. And if there are objections, and then these objections are heard, and we make another round, we can make another round, we can ask people, and if we hear everybody to the arguments of this objection, then we try to adapt it, and we ask again for paramount objections. So as long as we do not have any paramount objections, then the decision is done. Okay, the next principle is the circle structure. This means the organization is made up of semi-autonomous circles, and all circles together help to achieve the goal of the organization. The decision areas we call domain of the circle, And we in Sociocracy, we strive to the greatest possible autonomy for each circle. So the domains are coordinated together in the coordination circle, in the inner circle, as you can see on the slide. And now the third principle in detail, this is a double linking, and this means that each circle has a leader or a coordinator, and this is a person who leads the activities of the circle, and this is one link. And additional to this, we elect a delegate, the circle elect a delegate who is then near the circle leader, also member of the next level circle. So with equal power in consent. And if an organization does not like leaders or teams, they may have two representatives also. So this is to have an four eyes principle between the circles. And now we come to the open election. The open election has a clear process of electing people for tasks and roles. And this process is also led by a facilitator. And the first, what they are doing is they clarify the role with consent and make clear also the needed competencies for the tasks. And when this is done, then every member votes for a person and express their arguments why this member should do the job. This we call the open election. And people may also vote for themselves. And then when everybody was heard in the second round, everybody can change their mind because they have new arguments heard. And we do need only one person for the role. And after that, third round, then the facilitator suggests for one of the persons the suitable person for our role, what is needed. And this is an open election process. And then you see there are many, many other additional processes and also roles for circles. You can see here a lot of tools to make sociocracy complete. And all sociocracy centers and other serious providers of training programs like SOFA, Sociocracy for All, they can be asked for more information. This is good cooperation, what sociocracy creates. And this is exactly what we need in the face of so many crises. In order to strengthen cooperation in politics, there needs to be greater consideration of different views and opinions. In all cities, we notice an increasing diversity of population. All people are different, and sociocracy can deal with this well. I will show you some qualities. This is a summarize that we know from sociocratic organizations. So we also identified these much needed qualities in our first experiments and smaller scale projects at the interface between citizens and politics. And this gives us hope. So you see diversity of thoughts, embracing a wide range of perspectives and finding common ground among differing views, or common aims and inclusive decision-making leads us to finding new answers and solutions together. We empower individuals to contribute meaningfully and have effect. Effective meetings, they ensure that decisions are productive, and we create safe spaces as environments where everyone can express themselves without fear. Respectful and appreciative interactions, engaging with one another in a way that honors each person's contributions. Or co-responsibility, this means sharing the responsibility for decisions and results. And we develop citizenship competences. And here we come to the examples. I'm done, nearly. As we can see in the slide, you see here, all four examples, what we show you now, emerged in towns where sociocracy centers are available. And so sociocracy centers are non-profit learning centers, which primarily offer education to become sociocratic practitioners, competent facilitators, or consulting experts for implementation. To implement sociocracy in a political context, we need skilled trainers in the beginning of the process. we had them in all 4 examples. I'm very happy about it. So let us start now with the Youth Council of Municipality of Thermi. I hand over to Naya Tselepi. She's co-founder of the LKSO, the Elliniko Kentro Sociokratias. Naya.
Thank you very much, Barbara. Thank you very much, Laura. Good day to all. My name is Naya Tselepi. I come from Greece. I'm a postdoc researcher and educator, a certified expert of sociocracy, and co-founder of the Greek Center of Sociocracy, ECoD. I'm pleased to present you the very first example, the Youth Council of the Municipality of Thermi, Greece. And today with me is Konstantinos Pavlakis, a member of the Youth Council. So let's start. The municipality of Thermi lies in northern Greece, central Macedonia, near the second biggest city of Greece, Thessaloniki. The population is almost 53,000 citizens, and the municipality consists of 14 villages and a town, the Thermi, which is the capital. There's a great diversity in human geography and a variety in urban planning, economy, and culture. The need to create this youth council was the dispersed and inactive youth and the increasing youth violence, both of which triggered the search of solutions that work for youngsters. The Youth Council was initiated by the municipality in 2020 for young people aged from 15 to 29 years old. It is the first youth council in Europe to work under the Sociocratic Circle methodology and to be based on the organizational structure of neighborocracy, the Indian movement of self-organized neighborhoods for adults, youth, and children. On the left, here you can see the initial planning of the structure in June 2020. On the right, the organogram of the Youth Council after the sociocratic implementation approximately in October 2022. The Youth Council started its actions on physical space, but as COVID spread, it moved on to virtual one, Zoom meetings and web events. As COVID restrictions were lifted, youngsters worked on a combination of both spaces. Actions on site ever since include environmental issues like tree plantings, garbage cleaning, small interventions on infrastructure like graffiti in school walls, painting of bike lane markings, cultural and sport events like photographic contests, festivals, and game playing, as well as solidarity and charity actions like blood donation. Web events include open discussions on various topics such as citizenship, violence in home, stray animals, AIDS, etc., film watching, and podcasts. The challenges and learning from the Council's operations are too many. To begin with, the Youth Council started its actions during the pandemic, as I said before. At that time, meetings were happening virtually, thus youngsters lost their sense of community and unity. The Youth Council is a municipal initiative and not a grassroots one. In many cases, this helped processes to go on. However, there were cases that this same fact aroused feelings of disbelief and discouraged some youngsters to approach the council. Young people usually leave the place because of studies, work, army, etc. Thus, not many stay in the council for long. Last, from October 2022, the members are meeting in a general assembly because they need to meet in person and the information to flow directly to all. At the same time, the members are working on their new structure. It is the first youth council in Europe to work with sociocracy and be based on neighborocracy. In addition, the Youth Council celebrated the approval of its sociocratic rules of operation by the City Council. The vast majority of the City Council members voted in favor. In terms of networking and participation in European projects, the Youth Council has been invited to many events and as a partner to European projects and networks, as for example, the Europe Goes Local and the Provisional World Children Parliament. The Council has been acknowledged as a good practice in Europe from SONEC project, Say Youth project, Regale Erasmus Plus project, as well as in the European Platform for Lifelong Learning and the European Association for the Education of Adults. The municipality of Thermi has started a new project in the municipal schools right now, addressing the school councils in order to empower students and to motivate them to join the council. Other cities in Greece got curious and asked for support in implementing a sociocratic youth council, so they all meet in the youth forum event organized by the Youth Council of Thermi. Well, that's for me. Thank you for your attention. I'm handing over to Florian Bauernfeind, co-founder of the Sociocracy Center Austria and initiator of the project. He will present. Florian, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Naya. Thank you, Laura. And thank you, Barbara. You will help me with the slides. Yeah, my name is Florian Bauernfeind. I'm here based in Vienna, Austria. I'm trainer and consultant for co-governance and self-organization. And yeah, we have a nice little project that I will present to you now. So we started the first Sociocratic Neighborhood Council here in Vienna, Austria, in the Sonnenwendviertel. And yeah, the aim is to empower local residents and to help them identify, discuss, and address their key issues within their community. Yeah, to help build a sustainable urban development through active civic engagement locally. We want to help residents to self-organize and take meaningful action in their environment. And by using sociocracy, we help them listening to each other to find collaborative good solutions and also strengthen the social cohesion. Yeah, so this helps us here locally to address diverse social and ecological challenges that are approaching in these times. Yeah, where are we located? The Sonnenwendviertel is a new part of the city in Vienna near the Hauptbahnhof, the train station, and was built for about 5,500 households. And we started with the first prototype of this process, 2021. By then, it was funded by the city of Vienna and focused on sustainable mobility issues. Now we are in the second cycle of the process, open for all kinds of issues of residents, and now in the moment unfunded. Yeah, so I would now, Barbara, ask you to go to the next slide. The way we organize the process is we have 4 stages. The first stage is to reach out to all residents and activate them, mobilize them through various channels, including our online platform and also public space activities. In the second step or phase, we invite everyone to vote on the issues and ideas that were collected in the first phase. And in the third step, we have an open neighborhood forum. Everyone is invited, and we will present the findings, the results of the votings to identify the most pressing issues or most important ideas that have been voted for. Also at this neighborhood forum, we will have pro-action cafe tables where we can, residents can already exchange and work on ideas how to deal and what can be done about those topics. And we will elect the neighborhood council. The neighborhood council will consist of, firstly, the people who turned in the top issues, and also random selected residents to form a constellation for the upcoming year. So the neighborhood council will work for enduring 1 year, and each cycle will start from the step 1 again. So it's in yearly cycles. Within the work of the neighborhood council, we will implement and also facilitate all process by the principles of sociocracy. So sociocracy really starts at the council at the step 4, because here we have a binding agreement with all the members that they are willing to work together within the council's constitution, so the rules how we work together, and on common aims. So this gives the benefits of effective, good facilitated meetings, safe space, diversity of thought, transparency, informed decisions by consent, equality of power, and co-responsibility. Yeah, what can the neighborhood council do? So they will they have the opportunity to find common positions also, so they can publish their joint statements to address issues and address them to either the city administration, local district level politicians, or other actors, or the local media, for instance. Or they can also take action for themselves. So some projects and initiatives have started from the council themselves, and they are ongoing. For instance, they have planted a few more trees in the area with the help of the district, improved infrastructure for bikes and pedestrians, and published some statements also in local newspapers.
Okay.
And in the
I think, yeah, unfortunately, we have many more examples to go through, but I will share all the slides after the presentation so everyone can see the
Thank you. I now hand over to Pia, who co-founded the Sociocracy Center in Augsburg and who started the first Sonic neighborhood circle in Europe.
Yeah, thank you very much, Florian. Welcome to everybody. Augsburg, where our project is a culturally rich but economically rather poor city in the south of Germany with 300,000 inhabitants from more than 130 nations. A federal urban development program, Soziale Stadt, which means social city, is currently implemented for the economically and socially disadvantaged district Jakober Vorstadt Nord. Part of the program was the replanning of the desolate public area and former playground Am Bogen. The district management supports participation and activation of neighborhoods in this area. We learned about neighborhood parliaments from India at the Congress in Salzburg. We were also participants of Erasmus Plus Partnership Sonic, which started in 2020, and therefore we decided to try a pilot project in Augsburg. The neighborhood Am Bogen was recommended to us by the Office of Citizen Participation, City of Augsburg. For the first Sonic meeting Am Bogen in April 21, we invited 130 households with flyers, but also personally knocking on many doors and asked them to be part of planning the new playground and the recreation area. Because of COVID, we had a really hard start. We started only online with 5 neighbors. In the following months, there were mainly outdoor activities like collecting garbage, building a composter, or having a picnic. With the nucleus of Sonic stayed small, while the nucleus stayed small by 5 to 8 active neighbors, several outdoor activities attracted up to at least 20 neighbors, adults as well as children. Carmen Sanchez Piva, you see her here on the photo. She is here with us to answer your questions. She is an active neighbor am Bogen, and so she became our coordinator for Sonic. More and more, the group of neighbors organized themselves through sociocratic talking rounds and consent decisions. The meeting took part twice a month, either at the playground or in the neighborhood shop, and were facilitated by Carmen. Here you see some impressions of the activities organized at the playground by the neighbors before its reopening in summer 23. COVID and online meetings made it really hard to start a Sonic and build up trust. Language barriers made it even harder to meet online. Outdoor activities like collecting garbage were overcoming those barriers. What really helped also was a signal group to connect the group members. The neighbors in the multi-family houses in general did not know or address each other. This means community building is a very slow process, and you need lots of patience, persistence, and creative ideas. Another challenge was initiators and other official people from outside the neighborhood can cause some irritation because they are not neighbors. But regular circle meetings and a variety of activities will help the circle to grow. When the purpose is no more strong, for example, the playground is finished, neighbors need time and effort to find another purpose or define common goals. Our learning, you need a strong purpose as a key for success, but also resources, such as funding for paid work and material, a variety of skills in the circle, but also outside the circle, within the supporters, and a well-equipped meeting space. It is very helpful to engage an active neighbor as coordinator and to get the support of a district management as door opener, networker, and host for meetings. Good cooperation with the municipality improves mutual communication, understanding, trust, and empowerment. As for the impact, the neighborhood circle am Bogen allowed more participation and took an active part in the redesign of the playground. As caretakers, they did the planting of edible and inedible plants themselves, and their children liked to help. The social benefits are participation, self-efficacy, identification with the neighborhood, social cohesion, trust, feeling of safety, and the treasure of neighborhood help. This year, we started a second Sonic for mainly elderly people in single households, with the main purpose to overcome loneliness and to further mutual help. The district management saw the benefits of sociocracy for efficient cooperation and therefore asked us to facilitate the meetings of the district working group in the Jakober Vorstadt North. And the future sociocratic structure is supposed to help connecting neighborhood circles with stakeholders of the district and with the municipality. On this last slide, you find our vision: strengthening democracy through resilient neighborhoods. Thank you very much for your attention. Now I'm handing over to Rita, who is presenting sociocracy in the Municipal Council of Utrechtse-Wolfsburg. Rita, it's your stage.
Thank you, Pia. I am a researcher at the Boku University, and I have the opportunity to give you a very brief view on what this outstanding community has gained. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
So far, we have seen the principles of sociocracy at work in 3 different settings: a youth parliament, a city district, and a neighborhood. Now I'm going to show you how it is applied to local council and how it can transform our political system. The municipality in Utrecht-Zeughaus has undergone a remarkable change in the last 10 years. There is no majority coalition government and opposition. Instead, they involve all councillors in decision-making and work together across party lines. This is closely linked to the council's new Sociocratic method of decision-making in consent. This summer, I carried out a survey on this case, and I will share with you the first results. In 2014, after a fusion of 5 autonomous villages, the collaboration in the new municipal council was very difficult, and people's trust in politics was at an all-time low. A group of citizens stepped forward and devised, together with the mayor and the head of office, who is already also here today, hello Walter, they devised an adapted sociocratic decision-making process under the name BOB. The goal was to achieve better results for the whole community by establishing a respectful political culture in the council itself and to involve citizens in a meaningful way. BOB, or Bob, is an adapted version of consent decision-making with 3 distinct parts. As you heard before, they tried to adapt it to the political system. An agenda committee assigns a topic to one of the council meetings. These meetings are held twice a week and are attended by the relevant councillors. For the first step, the picture forming, citizens are invited to contribute their information and opinions. It takes place in the town hall or in the villages. Depending on how controversial the topic is, either 100 or no people attend. A week later, the second step, opinion forming, takes place. It is an exchange of views between the councillors on the topic they learned about last week. The citizens' role now is to listen, which they often do so, as the meetings are broadcasted online. They also can show up at the city hall. If they don't like what they hear, they contact their political representatives. A week later, the decision is made. Now the councillors decide on the proposal that was developed during the other steps by having no objection. Currently, after the council's decisions are made, half of the council's decisions are made this way. This process may sound time-consuming, but the careful preparation makes it possible that up to 20 decisions can be made in one evening. And more importantly, the decisions are broadly accepted by all members in the council. A sociocratic approach requires a common goal. To this end, the representatives of all parties decide on a joint legislative program after the election. The issues they decide to work on over the next 4 years are linked to the parties to their voters. The advantage is a jointly supported alignment. The disadvantage is that very controversial issues can be excluded and postponed for years. Bob involves citizens at the level of information and consultation. They can participate in shaping the picture and influence agenda setting. Other types of participation are not provided for and do not seem to be missed. Confidence in politicians is high, and if citizens really feel ignored or too little attention is paid to an important topic, they form a new party and stand for election. The Sociocratic Bob procedure has aroused interest in the Netherlands and abroad. However, transferability is generally context-dependent and requires careful adaptation. Sociocracy formed a new culture of political discourse in the local council. Decision-making is way more efficient. Decisions are more fact-based and accepted by all parties. The biggest impact is the cooperative atmosphere and general mutual respect in the council. Citizens know how to become involved and have regained trust in their elected representatives. As all parties are involved in a consent decision, there is no majority coalition government or opposition in the traditional sense. Power plays between parties have been reduced to a minimum. This was significantly strengthened the constructive forces, and the parties now more focused on thematic issues. So sociocracy has proven its worth in politics in Utrechtse Heuvelrug more over 3 legislative periods now. Now the different local councillors I spoke can no longer imagine any other form of political decision-making for important and complex issues. Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to your questions.
Thank you very much to all our presenters today. We now have about 10 minutes left for a Q&A session. So if you would like to ask a question to any of the presenters or a more general question, please do write it down in the chat, and we will present it to whoever you want to ask. I would like to ask Florian a question for you about representation among the council. So it was formed through a sociocratic process. And how representative would you say the neighborhood council in the Sonnenwende district is of the inhabitants there?
Yeah, not so much yet, but the vision to in the future is that if we continue to have these yearly cycles, more and more people are being reached, and also the harder to reach groups. So yes, this is a challenge. Yes,
it's a common challenge. So I was just wondering how it played out with sociocracy. So I have a question here for Naya. Could you speak more about the structural change? What provoked it, and sorry.
Yes, thank you, Laura.
Yeah, what provoked the structural change, and what would be a better suited structure?
Mm-hmm. The initial structure, as we can see, can I share my screen too?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. The initial structure, as we can see here on the left, was within our plannings of the structure in what we call implementation circle. It's, let's say, the key actors that can create a planning for the new sociocratic structure of our example, that is the Youth Council. You can see 14 circles around the big circle in the middle, that is the general circle. 14 circles is for the 14 communities, the villages and the towns. However, there were youngsters from some neighboring communities that they wanting to co-work and to cooperate and to be represented by the same local circle. So they decided, by consent, to merge some neighboring communities. That's why the next structure that we had was with these ones with 6 local circles. After 2.5 years of working in these 6 local circles, there was a need for the young people, for all these young people and the representatives to meet in a plenary, because the number was of participants was lowering, and at that time they needed all the information to be flowing among all the members. That's why they needed to change for a while this structure into a plenary. That's why they still meet there, but they are experimenting and trying to create their new structure because there is a need to go back in these local circles. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So then I will ask a question to Rita about double linking. So it's an important feedback mechanism in sociocracy. Can you explain how this works in practice?
This is not a very good question to me for my that I show. This would be for Barbara. In this political context is not the first step to organize double linking, but to use consent decision making. This is the big game changer, seems to be in the political context. And I wrote an answer for Boku University.
Okay, thank you very much.
And the other question of the kind of level where it seems to be successful to use sociocracy in a political context, at the moment we talk about the local level. And here it is very good because the vicinity between politicians and the public is quite high. So the feedback loops are quite direct.
Okay.
And
Very
we are
good.
in the beginning, we are really at the beginning of this implementations and research on this topic. Utrechtse-Heuvelrug was the first community to dare to in this broad sense.
Okay, thank you very much. So I think that answers somewhat Ina's question about where it works more effectively. So at the local level.
At the moment.
But maybe Barbara, you could take this question about how it's used to tackle particularly controversial issues.
It's good to have a common aim. So this is also our limit. So if we do not have common aims between political parties, we will not find a consent. This is a problem what we have. But when we go to lower levels and there are common aims, or we work in projects, we work in some councils and we have a common aim and we want to reach successfully together what we are sitting together, then it's good to make it with consent. And what happens is that everybody who is in this circle takes the responsibility for the whole. So when you say, if you say no, we cannot go on. And this makes to everybody a very responsible person that, okay, I have to think, how can we go on? So everybody is asked to find solutions that fits for all. And so this is co-working and we create a common sense in the group.
Great. And just following on from that, what's the maximum number of participants in a group to work effectively together in your experience?
We cannot make rounds when there are 30 people, we know. So we can make rounds when there are 12 people, but this is also a lot. So we need only 5 or 6 people to make good decisions when they are the right ones. They have all the information so they can do it. So we find other solutions. For instance, we go back to ask everybody, do you want to say something? And at the end, when we ask a bigger group like Utrechtse-Heuvelrug, there are 29 people in their council. And then at the end, they are asked if they have a paramount objection. And so not everybody said something, but the ones who want to say, they are heard. And everyone who wants to have a say is heard. And then everyone is asked for an objection. And then the objections rise up and say, oh, I know some argument why not to do this, and this person is also heard. So we can make it also with bigger groups. And as I start in the beginning, the Quakers, who has been the first doing consent decisions, what I heard from Gerhard Entenburg was, this has been 400 people asking for consent. And because they are all committed together, it worked. But I didn't see it in Austrian contexts to have a group of 200, and this did not work. Yeah.
And I could add this to the common aim in Utrechtse-Heuvelrug. It's now possible to make this legislative program together. So also the minority parties can have a say. And this makes it very interesting for the work after, because they can always do this common aim and involve everybody.
Mm-hmm. And maybe now to the question from I couldn't talk, to what I do as a politician to enhance sociocracy in the city council. I'm now member of the city council for 10 years, and maybe 8 years ago, I started the first round table, which was facilitated with the principles of sociocracy, and we used consent decision. And there were all kind of very sort of people from all the important offices, administration that took part. We were about 20, and the result was really great because they understood it's a co-responsibility, and only if we listen to each other and try and give our best, we can solve a big problem. And now it is quite a success story. There was a second round table, which very important social issues, which also was very, very good with the results. And now the third one is in plan. So from this is the thing this is the success story so far, but it's not, I wish we could do it as in Utrechtse-Heuvelrug. For me, this is the very, very top and the vision that politics works like that, that all the parties really understand that they have to cooperate, and that the main topic is how to do the best for the city. And so there's some way in front of us, but I'm hopeful through exchange, through meetings, through webinars like that, which are spreading all over, that this understanding of how a cooperative city can work is sort of growing. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of inspiration there and fantastic examples. I'm sorry we had to squeeze the questions slightly, but I'm sure our speakers will make their contact details available if they wish, and I will send them out with the presentations. The recording will also be on our YouTube channel next week, and if you just go to the website, which I've put into the chat, you will be linked to all the presentations as well. So you should have all the information you need, because I understand it's quite a packed presentation with lots of examples. I just wanted to round off today with an outlook to the rest of the year and even into next year. So here we're in webinar 8 of our series. We're more than halfway through, racing towards the end of the year. The next 2 are planned by the city of Braga. They will be with the focus topic of senior and intergenerational participation. So one in October and one in November. And we also have an open topic for a webinar in December. And you can give me your suggestions at the end. But many of you may also know that the European Capital of Democracy has now opened the 3rd call. We're looking for European Capital of Democracy 2026. Who's going to come after Vienna? The application phase is now open until the end of October, and all the cities who apply will be admitted into this city network and will become part of the work that we do in cooperation with the other cities across Europe. All applications are then evaluated by our experts jury, who compile a shortlist of 3 cities. And it is, of course, citizens who have the final say on who will become the next capital of democracy. Just looking at the timeline in a second. Who are we looking for? We have a benchmark of population benchmark of 100,000 citizens, just to level the playing field somewhat. Of course, there needs to be regular, free and fair elections and an independently elected municipal government. Applicant cities should tell us about their 3 existing democracy projects, quite a broad definition of democracy there, and 3 new project ideas, and should be able to demonstrate a minimum capacity for hosting a democracy year of events. So with the timeline there, you see the application phase is now open, and there will be the evaluation phase from November to February 25. And the citizens will vote, the citizens jury will vote on the next winner in March, with the announcement on the 18th of March 2025. So anyone can become a citizens juror. Just go to our website and you can sign up there. Or reach out to me or Stefan, one of the team, and we'll be happy to answer your questions. Thank you all for taking the time to join us today. It was a quick run through, a lot of information, but I thank all the speakers for their very inspiring and enlightening presentations.